Hey everybody, I wanted to, here's my face. So I have to turn off the light because I am driving. Just to bring some clarity to everybody about the grid and the shutdown and this and that. So I was talking to an insider today, and when I say insider, there's usually people who they know a lot, or they're probably part of the system. I'm not gonna say Illuminati because that's just a common word we always use. That's a camaraderie for bullshit. So I will say people who are part of an elite circle, or people who are part of a certain circle, who have to do these, like it could be someone who owns their own business, who made deals with investors, don't even know these investors are part of whatever big group you want to label. But as long as the copyright, or the logo of the company caters to the design work of one of these investors, you're just a part of a shareholding group, so you're just gonna get your percentage, but we basically run your idea. You are just, you are the creator, but we are the machine that, anyways. I usually don't yawn during videos. That's interesting. So long story short, this person I'm sitting with has a company, a big company. Actually showed me what the company does and X, Y, and Z. I'm very certain that this person knows that I'm a free will agent, so I operate only on my soul, and I make no agreements with anybody about anything. So anyways, moving on. He told me about Trump and how the nation address was really centering around 5G, and that the wall had an inclusion with 5G. And the wall is really not so much about what we think of it as. There's a lot of different, fine prints that go in with this wall in terms of surveillance and detecting people, whether they're from somewhere else. Basically technology along this thing that will identify people and what they are bringing across. So that was left out of the whole dialogue. Now, if you're somebody who is trafficking a child, let's say for example, and 5G is built along this wall, it will identify your face and it will detect what is going. It basically, TSA at the airport meets the China technology of the credit system of your personality, basically. So it was actually a really good sit down, and a good insight was leaked to me subliminally, and I get to take home some dinner. And I appreciate this person for the intel that they gave me, because I was able to share that with you guys. That it may not seem like a good thing from one perspective, but on the policing side of taking care of the activity, some people are going to be disappointed if the wall's built and all drugs are intercepted. Yeah. But we have to look at the bigger picture. Do we want more negative frequency into our conscious reality? Feeding that lower frequency of those things only keeps our country at the lowest lowest of its low. And so you have this person who is in opposition, because that's his role and title, is to operate in opposition. So that's what Masonry is. You operate backwards. I've been saying this for a long time. And even that group of people have approached me in past time and, questioned me about what I know and questioned my intentions. No threats or anything like that. It was actually a very mutual respected sit down. Like, okay, you just stick to your arena, we stick to our arena. Don't basically it was I don't want to say too much, but it was just basically like, choose your words well, stay one block behind us, don't rush, know your place, know your part, and do you want a business, a mansion, cars to the nines? And I was like, nope, I don't want that. I want my free will. And they basically know. They already know the origins of my family. They know the origins of me. They know where I come from, as far as my family line, and they already know. So what threat am I if I just share my wisdom and my knowledge and my compassion with my constituents? That is all I do. So going back to the dialogue about the 5G, in order to get 5G up and running and have it operating, there has to be a grid shutdown. As to is or will there be a 9/11 type event that would cause this, I don't know. I did have a dream or a vision where it was announced that it was going to happen. Everyone had time to prepare. It was mayhem and craziness. Going to the stores and getting water and this and that, and then some riots broke out and whatever, but it had to get done. I know with the police system, they're going to be backing down with being on the streets because their eyes are very vulnerable being on the streets, and they're very dominant when they're up in the air. So that's why you're going to have it's going to be very interesting. Like a lot of people will have to clean up their act and be quick about cleaning up their act, because whatever you're doing behind closed doors, it basically will have a transparency. So do I think it's a great idea to just allow this 5G and deal with it? I don't know, because the risk of such a powerful wave to sense your face, detect who you are, see what's on you, know in like your heat patterns and your body temperature and things like that, that's gonna be pretty crazy. They're telling you that, it's about having free internet for everyone. You can access Wi-Fi without having to pay. You're gonna have more digital experiences through your phone, blah blah and blah. But at the same token, I don't think I want to hold my phone near a foot close to my face with having the 5G. It would probably roast. I mean, if you look at what is it, PB&E, the smart meters, what they did when they were heated by the sun and they somehow allegedly caught on fire, or they didn't catch on fire, someone just sparked. So could you imagine that your phones are now going to have that type of capability, because now you have a form of technology that is utilizing your device to spy on you, to detect what's going on with you, and to invade your privacy. The subliminal message was in Cardi B's album, Invasion of Privacy. No one saw that coming, did they? That music artists put these messages in their album and their music to really give you tips and hints on what is going to come a year after on that date and release. So she released her album. Oh, I didn't do the homework. I think it was March last year, wasn't it? Because she was pregnant April, something like that. So a grid has to shut down in order to jumpstart the 5G first, and then the grid going back on, because basically if you can't just cut on 5G, you can't. It has to be jump started on. It has to have its own grid, and to have its own grid, because it's another form of technology, you're gonna have to shut down everything in order to see how much power and juice the 5G is going to utilize, and depending on that will determine how, what, and where the other power is going to be working, the transformers and whatnot that we have. Or they might just say, let's blow out every transformer and upgrade those to 5G. And that could take who knows how long in order to reboot, replace, and replenish so many different areas around the world. So this is potentially a huge accident ready to blow up, right? As to who's funding this, it's kind of a big sham, because if you were to think that, I don't want to say too much. My clue and my hint is they just went to the moon, the dark side of the moon. You heard that noise, that's my confirmation. So those are the people who are basically going to help assist this whole thing. They were able to go to the dark side of the moon. They can definitely create an EMP situation, or everything just gets announced and organized properly, and then a shutdown happens. Banks will go first, everything else will go after. Then the rebooting will start. Everything's back on 5G, and then now we're in this new one world, surveillance and technological associated clusterfuck. Excuse my language. So that's my intel and my own insight on what I think it is the whole thing that's going to happen. It has to happen because the old grid is burning out. There's too many devices going on the grid. There's too much Wi-Fi, and it's frying people, frying children, pets, you name it. Will 5G be even healthier, better, worse? Who knows, right? But they were saying that firefighters who were installing, I'm turning this off now, sorry. Firefighters who were installing these 5 gig towers, they were getting effects. And so, in essence, yeah, they're probably a little bit too strong for human use, but they won't know until the thing is up. The gig is up. Get it? Long story short, I think whoever is financing this, or the financial institute behind it, Democrats. Actually, I think it's both parties who are involved. Russia and China. Let's throw them all under the bus. They're all probably in the first place. And this is why Pelosi's like, oh, I don't want to put my money towards that, because it's animalistic. It's vile. You're experimenting with guinea pigs. I'm intuitive. I think that's what she's kind of saying. I think I've said enough. I think I gave you guys enough information. This is just what I got from my sit down, and I was able to weigh in on the rest of the gaps that were left open for me to use my mind and think. So, is this going to happen by President's Day? I'm not sure, but I watch other channels, and it looks as though maybe possibly this will happen by the 19th, because that's a 1-9 and 2019 makes an 11. So in the bracket forms, I always do the numbers for everybody. They don't pay attention to this channel. You have 1-9. Sorry, I'm looking for parking. 1-9, 1-1, and it's the number 2 in the beginning. So if you were to break 2 into Roman numerals, you have you have 2 brackets space 1-9 space 1-1. So you have 3 1s, a 9, and 2 1s. So that definitely says 9-11, 11-11 to me. 11-11 means to create a gateway, a portal, a pathway. Turning my light off again. Geez, parking is horrible in LA. So, gateway into a 9/11 event will probably be what it is. So there's no need to be in a panic. Unless you're looking for parking. There's no need to be in a state of panic or anything. It will get back up and running, but you have to know that the only reason why the gig will come down and shut down will only be because they want to boot up 5G and see how much juice it's running. They probably want to boot up CERN as well, and CERN being the crevice, the pivotal point of the 5G. 5G would feed CERN's Hadron Collider, and the Hadron Collider would respond to the rest of the world because 5G is in sync. So that is catastrophic in a way, because the most powerful thing in the world running energy needs more energy, and then you experiment this first energy grid system for the first time. You're asking for a huge, catastrophe. Anyway, and it looks like I found parking. Awesome. Across the street from my house. Perfection. No, it's red. Darn it. I try to make this entertaining. I'm not really scared because, I've always wanted solitude. I wanted a little break from work. I work hard, I work a lot, and I'm ran to the ground. I'm like a lot of other millennials. By default, we're under 40 years old, so we're considered millennials. So therefore, we have to thrive, strive, and suffer. Is that parking? I'm just nosy. Let's see. No. Yep, so that's all that I've been squeezing my head around this and really trying to have some clarity, because I think some of us who've been overworked and ran down, this is probably our time to regenerate our energy, have a little bit of some silence at home, some natural things that we can do at home, like go to your local stone or magic shop, buy yourself a Tibetan flute, learn to play it when it happens. There's different things you do, art, meditation. I see it as a good thing, and it's crazy that Trump is behind all of it. And not in the evil way, which most people think. I think in a lot of different ways, like I've been sharing in my last videos, darkness does encourage light to be better. And light being better makes dark better, meaning dark becomes integrated with the light. Because once you throw everyone off, then everyone has to get back on the same page together in harmony. Will there be war? I don't see all that happening. I don't really see. That's not in the reality that I foresaw. It's not in my timeline that I saw. I've already been through my timeline of knowing this event. I've already went through the catastrophe, or maybe it's just over. Maybe it happened in my alternate reality. Last thing I want to share with everybody is the only thing that I would probably get, I'll probably just get canned vegetables and water and nuts. You know, the natural things that the body can, because the natural stuff has already gathered its regenerative properties and benefits from the sun. So why not eat nuts and fruits and things that came out the ground and grow on the tree? And, you know, plant-based diet, nuts and herbs and things like that is probably the way to go, because you're gonna have that regenerative energy in your body. And stay home, make a fort, you know, barricade yourself, don't go outside and mingle and run around town, because that's when the 5G is going to start recording your face and documenting, you know, your moves and what you do. If you stay home and you stay put, you stay calm, collected, and have your, you know, 6 to 8 jugs of water with you, have your, you know, 15 to 20 cans of vegetables, and then have your, you know, trail mix and nut grain mixes. That's all you really need. Like, I was a vegetarian for 3 years, and if I can do that for 3 years the way that I did, you can definitely survive 3 days with no electricity. Not a problem. Have some candles. Potentially those candles at the store, you can actually get them. They're near the rice area where you can buy rice, grain, and oats. But they have candles like for churches and whatnot. They last for 24 hours. That will help you count the days and times. Like, if you start one candle at sunrise, you can definitely count 24 hours until that candle burns out. Like, that's just how we're gonna have to do it. To find out what time it is, we're gonna have to guess. Where's high noon? Our ancestors had to do this. They were native. The Egyptians figured it out. So why can't we? In the final root race that we are, we have to apply and adapt and integrate our past into the front. We have to catch up all the timelines. So this has to happen. Am I prepared? Not really. I don't want to be in the apartment complex that I am, knowing all this will happen. There's too many dogs and too many cuckoo people who can't contain themselves, and too many potheads. Yeah, I would just try to work, like, for me and my concern, I would try to work on building ways to create elixirs to help my anxiety and my feelings of restlessness. I am an athlete. My metabolism is high, so I would probably have a lot of different senses of lavender. I would rub lavender on my feet all the time. I would have incense burning. I would probably just sleep as much as possible. Let the time go by, wake up, see the candle sitting on aluminum foil, and go back to sleep. I think I've said enough. Have a wonderful rest of your night. If you guys inquire any other questions or concerns, I think I have a full understanding of this event. You have nothing to really worry about. Your money will go back to your bank account. The bank shutdowns that happen are only because their ties to the big elite groups and the big family names. That's the only reason. Oh shoot, I have to get gas. Those are the only reasons why they went out first, because they're the first to be piloted, and they're the first to Basically, when this happens, those banks will not be off the grid because Wells Fargo, Chase, J.P. Morgan, we already know like their stature of the world, like who they're tied to, who they're in cahoots with. So it will make perfect sense that those banks will be the first to be put off the grid during this time when it's not crazy, and they will be rebooted. I'm sorry, they will be active and serving those who are of those elite groups. It will be serving them during the time that we are in the blackout. Someone just went, ooh. Yep, so please share this video. It's very insightful. There's nothing to fear as long as you just provide yourself with, water, calcium, vitamin D, vitamins, fiber, like your basic stuff. Your protein is in nuts, so you're prepared. There's the preparation. So have a wonderful night. I will see you guys later. These are just all for fashion. I like these glasses. Anyway, take care, everybody. If you like these glasses, I was gonna plug my friend because he is a light worker. And I forgot I forgot his information. Oh wow. Take care, everybody.